Good morning. Hi, Cindy and George and Joanne. Good morning. I saw the so depressing. I didn't read through it. Sorry, because I know I'm a little late today. Carolyn, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Lynn and Dave, good morning. And Stevie, good morning. All right, awesome. So let's see how today goes. Because Hamilton's in here and I'm not going to let him outside because I'm leaving for Vegas today. So I am not letting him out. And I know, but you're not going to get out. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, hello, how are you all? I am looking forward to moving my body, to stretching, and to getting rid of stress in my muscles and in my body. So let's see how this goes. All right. Anything anybody wants to share with me? What's going on with you this week, or anything in particular that's bothering you? All right. I don't see anything right away. So we'll just think of normal life. Life, stress of normal life, right? Okay. Are you going to be good? Are you going to be good and practice yoga with everybody? Are you going to be good? He's very rascally right now. I know, honey. I'm not going to let you. All right. So for today's practice, I'd like you to have a strap and a block and a blanket and a cat. Just kidding. See, George, you bring out that jokester in me. You don't have to have a cat, but I do highly recommend them because they're really amazing on so many levels. And yeah, and I hope I said a blanket too. So for those of you that practice with me in person, there's a potential that we will start opening up in November of 2021. And that's the goal, is for the first class to be in November. And then really in 2022, the beginning of the year, is when being in person again will be a probability. So hopefully that is good, because I know that could be a lot of months from now. So hopefully that doesn't stimulate like, oh my gosh, that's so long from now. It's going to go in accordance with whatever the guidelines are, because it's a hospital. And so whatever the guidelines are from the CDC for the hospital. So anyway, that's that. I'll be here until then. And hopefully also it may be a hybrid model with Zoom option or live option. So that's what we have to look forward to. Maybe in 2022, we'll get back to some kind of normal. So let's see if that's the case. Anyway, whatever, it is what it is, right? Que sera, sera. And let's just accept whatever is. All right, with that said, I'd like to open the chest and the heart area. I'm going to go all the way down on the ground. For some of you that have more tightness in your body, and going all the way down is not quite as easy for you, you could begin with an elevation with some pillows so that you're in a supported supine position as opposed to all the way flat. And then just, if that is you, always working towards creating more openness and more space in your body is the goal. And making sure that we keep that range of motion in our joints and in our body is really, really important. And if we don't move and take care of ourselves, that tightness will come in, and that lack of mobility or range of motion comes in. And then it's just a whole domino effect of a lot of not good stuff that can happen to the body, and a lot of pain and discomfort and suffering. So we're going to think to the future to get away from that. All right, so I would like to put something underneath the chest area. And that could be for you a pillow, a bolster, or a really nice way to do this is to get a blanket. And actually, let me correct that. We're going to do it underneath the spine. So I prefer to do it underneath the spine. I think it's more supportive for a lot of you, and not quite as intense and easier to do. So if you have a blanket or a pillow, open it up really wide so it's like the length of your torso. And then you're going to roll it up into a tube. Cat burrito. Oh, Hamilton, you're super feisty, honey. You're super feisty. I know it's entertaining, and actually it is for stress reduction. Maybe not your stress, but ours, to see you in all of your beautiful, majestic fluffiness. All right, so I'm gonna put the prop so that it goes underneath my spine. And remember, for you, it may be a couple of blankets. The thing is that your tushy stays away from the blanket, so let your bottom be on the floor, not at the blanket. The blanket starts at the low back. This is where the spine begins. And then you're going to bring yourself down, whatever's appropriate for you, and then whatever you need behind your head. And I'd like you to keep your eyes open at first. So allow the stages of relaxation to come into your body, and know that that exists, that there are stages that we go through in order to get our body and our mind to relax. And it's as if we were driving 100 miles an hour. You don't just come to a complete stop all of a sudden. So you have to honor the energy that's in your body and that's in your mind when you want to manage your stress. You have to realize that it is going so quick and it doesn't just stop. So be patient with yourself when you're trying to calm your mind, when you're trying to get some control in your life. And then bring yourself into this position with the prop underneath your spine. Lengthen your head. Take your arms out to the side. And keep your knees bent at first. Let the knees touch each other. Walk the feet wider than the body. And let your arms go out to the side. And then if it's an okay time for you now, can you close your eyes? And then when you close your eyes, notice whatever you notice around you. So notice the sounds and pay attention to where they are. So in terms of proximity to you, if it's a plane, it's pretty high in the sky, right? What is it? 10,000 feet or 20, whatever cruising altitudes is. And then maybe it's birds and they're only about 30, 40, or 50 feet away from you. Maybe it's the paws of your kitty on the floor and it's only 1 foot away. So whatever it is, notice the sounds, where they are, what side of you they're on. And maybe they are sounds in your wall or electronic equipment in your house. As if you were a bunny rabbit, you're going to perk your ears up, close your eyes. I'd like you to bring your awareness to your nose, to your breath. Start to follow the breath in the nostrils. And then start to feel the movement of your chest, your torso, your ribs, your lungs. Feel what breath does when it comes into your body. And then begin to deepen the breath. so that you actually feel stretching. You want to start warming up your body from the inside out in a more subtle way. And then bring the breath as deep as you can. So the breath comes in, the lungs move in 6 directions. Move the lungs back. Feel them going back towards the floor or the prop behind you. Feel them going to the sides. And then feel the lengthening of the lungs up and down at the same time. Breathe as deep as you can so you can feel the biggest warmth and relaxation and stretching that the breath can bring into your torso. Notice if you begin to hear any digestive sounds in your tummy. Check the moisture level of your mouth. See if you feel moisture in your mouth. Take your tongue and move your tongue around in your mouth. Notice if it's sticky or is there moisture in your mouth. That's an indication of hydration and of parasympathetic nervous system stimulation. Because the mucous membranes in the mouth, that's where we begin digestion. Actually, we begin to digest with our eyes when we see something. And if I told you right now to imagine a lemon and you cut the lemon and see if you start to notice any secretions of fluids in your mouth or any muscular movement towards puckering. Think of a lemon, you cut it, you smell it, the juice is dripping out onto the counter. And those are digestive enzymes. And that's parasympathetic nervous system stimulation. That allows you to bring in the nutrients to build your body, to build each cell and each system in your body, organs, organ systems. So for your heart, your liver. We'll spend the next couple of minutes inhaling relaxation, exhaling tension. Inhale relaxation, exhale tension. Let the relaxation on the inhale go to wherever it's needed in your body. Where do you hold your tension? Do you feel it in your low back? Let the low back soften as you exhale, that tension releases. And on the inhale, you bring relaxation so that the muscles will loosen their grip and their contraction. And as you exhale that tension out of your body. Inhale relaxation. Exhale tension. Keep going, inhaling relaxation, exhaling tension. Turn your eyeballs inward and look for where you have tension. Do you have tension in your feet? Tension in your neck? Your jaw? Your eyeballs? Inhaling relaxation, exhaling tension. Take 3 more breaths like this. Last breath. Bring your awareness to your hands as you wiggle your fingers, to your toes as you wiggle your toes. And then move in the way that your body wants to move. Do whatever it is you want to do. Closing your eyes, feeling your way through mobility. And then let's roll onto our side. It's really hard for me to remember or to know if I would understand my body in the way that I do without this practice of yoga. So having this total body awareness, I think, is so important for staying healthy in your body and for helping to manage pain and discomfort and issues you have in your tissues. Let's take your hand on the floor. As you let your head be heavy here, you're not going to lead with your head, you're going to lead with the shoulder. You're going to push strongly to bring yourself up. So it really is very valuable for you to understand your body, because what happens is we don't do that, and then the stress of life, everything that happened in our lives throughout our entire life starts to show up. Maybe over the age of 50. I don't know exactly when the aches and pains start or when you realize that you have limitations in your body. So being body aware is really important to stay nice and healthy in our body. Let's come on to all fours. I like to do a flexion and extension of the spine. So flexion is this movement here, and extension is this movement here, a back bend and a forward rounding. Now, if you do have osteoporosis, you're going to minimize rounding in the spine, especially from the head to the belly button. You want to make sure that you don't round the spine. So for those that have osteoporosis, the extension is a great place to be, but the flexion is not. So you could do flexion in the lower back, letting the low back move. All right, come onto all fours, take your hands forward, do whatever you need for your wrists. As you come into all fours and you start to move your body through flexion and extension, let the head go, let the tail go. Inhale to come into extension. Exhale to come into flexion. Very basic movements in the practice of yoga. For those that are unable to do this because of wrists or knees, I would recommend maybe trying it on the bed, seeing if that's an easier option. We're coming into fists for wrists, if it is your wrists that are limiting you. And I'd like us all to come on to fists for wrists. So take your hand from this position, turn it into a fist, and then be on top of those knuckles, the first bone that's in the fingers, the biggest bone in the finger. Inhale, make sure your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders are stacked. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more. And then bring yourself to a neutral position. Bring yourself up. Let's take our wrists and shake our wrists. So important to keep your wrists strong as you age. So I'd like you to find whatever you need to do to put weight on your wrists. So it may be that you roll up something, you buy wedge blocks that minimize, it's this right here, this bend turning into a letter L. It's the letter L that makes it challenging. So the more you have it closer to the letter I for some of you, that may be what you need. Although I would suggest that we want to work towards the L. All right, we're going to do a full range of motion here. So whether you're fists for wrists or hands are straight, let's inhale, left leg back, right hand forward. Stay here on the exhale. And then let's inhale, lift them both. Let your head go up, come into extension. And then exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale into extension. Exhale, knee to elbow. If you have osteoporosis, bring your knee to your elbow. Don't let your elbow go towards your knee. Inhale, stretch as much as you can. So feel your body stretching, whatever is happening. One more. Stay here in the up in the inhale. Exhale here. Inhale, and then bring yourself down. Let's go to the other side. Slide left hand forward, right leg back. Exhale to stay here. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Exhale. Go through a full range of motion. Feel the stretch of your tissue. One more. Stay here. Inhale, reach, and then bring yourself out. Come all the way up. Stretch your wrists, so you could either do this, be up here and stretch your wrists like this, or you can come onto the ground, back of the hands on the ground. It's a much deeper stretch to do the wrists like this, so only do what's appropriate for you. And then palms are down. Let your body go back. Stretching forearms and wrists, keeping yourself nice and mobile. All right. We're going to come into a lunge using body weight to stretch our pelvic area, low back area. So for some of you, having a block handy, especially if balance is a challenge, may be a nice thing to have a block handy. For those of you that your knees don't like to be weighted on, put 2 blankets there so you have extra padding. Then you're going to bring your foot forward. Doesn't matter which foot forward, but I want it to be pretty far forward so that the knee joint is here and the ankle joint is forward of the knee joint. That's important. And then there's a balance aspect here. So just be here for a second, see how this is. You may need to walk your foot wider. So if balance is really, if you're feeling really wobbly, walk your leg over to the side, okay? Being in this position right here, strengthening your balance, strengthening the pelvis and the leg bone. So it's going to help, when we talk about stress reduction or stress management, it's also about keeping yourself away from the future stress of wear and tear and pain in the body. And that's what we're doing. Being proactive and preventative is also part of managing stress, future stress and even current stress. Take your hands on top of your thighs. Let's inhale to come forward so your entire pelvis moves forward, pelvis and torso, but mostly pelvis. Exhale to come back up. Think about that tailbone. The tailbone has to move. The sacrum has to move to come forward. I want you to go really deep here, really stretch the psoas, which is your sitting muscle, taking that stress out of the pelvis and out of that sitting posture, bringing yourself forward, stay here. You could keep your hands here. That will be a little bit easier, maybe to keep that spine long, or bring both hands up towards the sky. Take 3 breaths here. Breathe all the way down to your belly. Feel the stretch. Now we're going to come into a twist. So you could either take one hand on the block, one hand on your leg, and twist over that front leg. Or you could take both hands together, take the elbow of the opposite arm on the outside, hands are together. And then if you want a little bit more strength, flip the back toes under, lift your leg off the floor, take 3 breaths here. Long spine wherever you are. You have 26 bones, make them long. Protecting those discs, strengthening the spine, strengthening the pelvis, strengthening the muscles that move the legs. Leg strength important for healthy aging. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Bring yourself all the way out. Take a break here for a second. And then go to the other side. You don't need to switch sides. I want to, so I can face forward. So bring the other leg forward. And then the block if you need it. So just come into this position at first because I want your proprioceptive nervous system to get acclimated to where you are in space. And remember, ankle joint forward of knee joint. And then see, do you need to go a little wider in your stance? Do you need to walk your foot over to the side because you're feeling a little precarious, or is this okay for you? And just see where you feel okay. Bring your foot forward. Take your hands on your thighs. The pelvis, we want our pelvis to move. You're going to inhale to come forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. We're loading up that glute, loading up that hip, stretching the psoas on the other side. And then one more. Go slow. Safely loading this helps with bending, with walking, with standing, with balance. Stay here. You either have your hands on your thighs or you inhale to bring your arms up. Breathe down to your belly. Let the breath help stretch the belly. And then go ahead, you could come up and take a break if you need. We're going to come into that rotation. For some of you, being on a block and staying elevated with the hand here, lengthening your torso and rotating over that front knee, that may be appropriate for some of you. For others, bringing your elbow on the outside of that knee, hands are together, and then flip the back toes under if you'd like. 3 breaths here. Breathe down to your belly, so accentuate the stretch with breath. One more breath. Long spine. Really push that heel back and then bring yourself down. Taking the opportunity to stretch to your maximum capabilities. All right, let's come on to our shins. We're going to do gate latch pose lateral. So we're going to stretch the side of our body, because keeping your tissue nice and limber is a huge part of releasing stored tension in the body from stress. So bring yourself onto your legs and then take one leg to the side. What? No, I'm not going to let you out. Come here. All right, distractions of life, aren't they lovely? Especially when they're cute and fluffy. Oh, there you go. Fluffy distractions we're okay with. All right, the foot, point the foot forward. And for some of you, maybe even being in this position is actually a lot of stretch. The toes are pointing forward. Can you push the pinky toe edge into the floor so you're really getting a nice stretch over that ankle? Keep the leg straight. And then you're on that standing leg. And then right here, put your hands in here. Can you bend a little bit more at this part of your hip joint? Getting a stretch there in some of those lateral muscles. Take your hand down alongside your body, palms are forward. Then take your hands onto your thigh. And then you're going to inhale to reach up. Reach up towards the sky, and then slide your hand down your leg. So you feel, and make sure that you're not forward. So you don't want your hand forward. Keep your hand so it's right by your ear. If you put it up, it's not going to come onto your cheek. It's right by your ear. Slide your hand down. Reach your hand up. Stretch the heck out of that side of the body. Push that leg into the floor and reach up. Reach. No, sorry. You're not going out. Reach. Take one more breath. Really push that pinky toe edge into the floor. Reach. And then bring yourself out. That just feels so yummy to me. Let's take a break in between. I'm so sorry, but I cannot let you out. I know, honey. I know. I am a sucker, so let's see. I may at some point do it. Okay, let's take the other leg out to the side. So the other foot goes out to the side, the toes are forward. And it may take a little while to arrive here. So at first there may be this protection in the body to not want to let that bend happen here. This is a flexion in the hip in a very different angle than usual. So this can be, feel that there in that hip joint. And then active foot so that your arch is lifting up, your pinky toe edge is pressing into the floor, and you feel that stretch over your ankle joint. So let your body arrive, and then be nice and tall here in your spine. Take your hand down your leg, the other hand to the side, palm faces forward, and then palm faces up. Let's inhale slowly, go slow, so you feel the stretch along the way, and then go a little deeper here in that lateral flexion. Be nice and pressing that standing leg into the floor, and with that pressure downward, you're going to reach upward, and then let your hands go down your leg. Breathe down to your belly. Push your heart forward. Two more breaths here. Take one more. And then bring yourself out. Okay, let's come all the way out. All right, come here. You want to go out? Yes, I will let you. I'm a sucker, and I've always been a sucker. Come here. Go. Maybe in my lineage somewhere there was a lot of crying and I just can't put up with it. So even with my kids, my animals crying, I just can't handle that. All right. So I'd like you to notice how you feel here. Maybe you're able to sit down like this. If you could bend, please still bend. Maybe you're able to do this and maybe not, but I'd like you to feel how you feel in your body. There's a lot of stretching here. For those of you with low back issues, you may even feel stuff in your low back right now. We pulled on and stretched a lot of where tightness comes into the body and contributes to that low back discomfort, especially if you're sitting a lot, which we are these days. Let's come into a seated position on the blanket and come into a very wide squatted position. So another area of stretching our hamstring area. Keep your back nice and long here. So take your hands, press your hands into your thighs and lengthen your spine here. So be nice and tall. And if you can, come forward. If you need that for a deeper stretch, come forward. Keep your throat open. Lengthen your spine. Do not round your spine. So of course, if you have osteoporosis, you don't want to round it. And then the rest of us don't want to round it either if you don't have osteoporosis. So bring your throat, your heart, your throat, your heart. And then bring yourself up. Let's come all the way up. Let's take our feet together into Baddha Konasana. More stretching for the legs using body weight. When we use body weight, it is a deeper stretch. So bring the soles of the feet together, bring your body forward. And then I want you to notice where your knees are. So if your knees are pretty high, this is an indicator of tightness in the hips. And we've actually done a lot so far to stretch the hips. So these are weighted hip stretches, keeping the middle part of our body, which is our stabilizing part, fluid, open. And then you're going to bring yourself, the legs are straight. And then you're on something here. I want you to reach down and grab your flesh of each buttock so that you feel the sits bones, the pelvic bones pressing into your blanket. And then bring your hands down alongside your body. Flex your feet. So very active feet here. Pull your toes towards you. And then try to spread your toes if you can. Push the heels of the feet away from you. Sit nice and tall. Hands are here. Lift your heart. This may be where many of you stay. Or you could bring your arms up into a scarecrow position. Push your feet into the floor. Push your tushy into the floor. Push your hands back. Not the elbows, but the hands if you have your arms up. And if the hands are on the floor, push them into the floor. Take 5 breaths here. And if you need to go at less than 5, go ahead. You do you. You could close your eyes. You could inhale relaxation and exhale tension. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Point your toes pretty strong and then flex. Let's do a little twist to twist out tension in our body. You're gonna bend a knee, bring the block behind you. Or if you have pretty long arms, you could be on top of your fingertips to get length in your spine. Let your foot be forward, hold onto your other leg, take your hand on the block behind you. Push your hand into the block to get as tall as you can, inhale. And then at the lower ribs, start to rotate the lower ribs, and then the middle, and then the upper ribs. Lower your shoulders, lengthen your spine, take 5 breaths here. Keep your straight leg active. Breathe all the way down to your belly. So use breath to also help stretch and release tension in the midsection of your body. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Let's go to the other side. Straighten that leg, bend the opposite leg. Take your block on the floor behind you. Get yourself nestled in, so feel your tushy. Take a hold of the leg that's bent. Put your hand in the block to get tall. So make sure you take roundness and saggy out of your body. Inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate around. When you get here, push down to get length in your spine, and then lower your shoulders from your ears. Nice tall neck. Take 5 deep breaths here. Really breathe deep. Let that breath help. Active, straight leg. One more breath. And then bring yourself forward. The leg that's bent, let it go out to the side. Bring that heel closer to your body if you can. So higher up if you can, or near that knee. And then take your hand on the opposite leg. Take your hand on the block behind you. Push down, get tall, and rotate. Little deeper stretch here. Getting that psoas in the opposite side. Keep your shoulders out of your ears. So if you have shoulder earrings, lower your shoulders. Take one more breath here. And then bring yourself back. So really the breath is very helpful here, because before we go to the other side, you can bring your leg if you'd like. The attachment of the diaphragm, which is the primary breathing muscle around your lower ribs, attaches onto the spine right by the belly button area. And then the psoas, which attaches lower and upper body, also attaches on that same area or near that area. And that's attached to your low back and to your inner thigh. So when we come into this external rotation in this leg here, we're stretching the bottom part of the psoas. When you breathe in and you create that intra-abdominal pressure, whatever is down there stretching and moving, you actually help to facilitate that even more. Okay, so now we're going to go the opposite direction. So the straight leg, you're going to come across, take hold of that straight leg with your hand. The hand is on the block behind you. Get nice and tall. Inhale. And as you exhale, the lower ribs, the middle, and the upper, rotate as much as you can. And then breathe down to your legs. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out of that. Take your feet, let's shake your legs. And then let's come back up onto all fours to soften tension in the back. Come on to all fours. Have your legs really wide and your hands really wide and your hands are forward. And I'd like you to look over your shoulder in one direction, look over your shoulder in the other direction. Hands are wide, so hopefully you have a bigger range of motion here in the upper back. Stretching the spine, torso, and then bring yourself back to center. Come into that cat-cow position. Inhale and exhale. Go as big as you can here. And then we're going to come into a puppy dog position or an extended child's pose. The arms are forward. I want a long spine here. Arms are forward, forehead touches the floor, or get the block if you need to. Put your hands on the floor. This helps to stretch the upper body, the shoulders, the chest, helping to release some of that tension in the upper body. Deep breaths down to your belly, down to your tailbone. Push your heart towards the floor. One more breath. And then bring yourself up. Okay. I'm going to show you what we're going to do next because I know it won't be for all of you. I'm going to come through a downward, we're going to come into downward facing dog, and then we're going to come forward into plank. And we're going to go back into downward facing dog, and we're going to go forward into plank. Now, for some of you, you may need to do a modification of this. You may go into puppy dog and come forward. Into puppy dog, rolling through the hips, rolling through the shoulders, bringing lubrication to these joints and keeping them nice and mobile. Take your hands wide if you're going to do the down dog with me. This stretches the posterior chain, the back of the body. Knees are wide, feet are wide. Flip the toes under. Make sure before you begin that it's not just big toe, second toe, that you're trying to get that pinky toe to curl under as well. Inhale. As you exhale, push your tushy into the air. Bring your head between your hands, and then try to what's called walking the dog. Take your pinky toe edge of the heel, so the very back, and try to push that strongly towards the ground. Spread your fingers, push your fingers into the floor. Little bit easier typically for men because this is upper body strength, a little harder for some of the ladies to do this. Very hard for me when I first started practicing yoga, even though I was very fit in my 30s. We're not used to loading up on our upper body like this. Push both feet towards the floor. Feel that huge stretch behind your back body. Let your tailbone go up towards the sky. And then inhale to come forward into your plank. Push all 10 toes and all 10 fingers. Exhale, belly up towards the sky. Inhale to come forward. And then exhale up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, last one. And then bring yourself forward. Bring yourself all the way up. Definitely a little more intense when you use body weight to stretch your body. Don't always need to stand to create a pretty nice, strong practice. And then let's take the strap and stretch our upper body here. So do whatever you can here with your shoulders. You could take one elbow at a time that bends. So one elbow could bend at a time. Or you could let your arms go straight, a little more challenging to go with straight arms. So go whatever feels appropriate to you. We did do some of this lateral movement, trying to get even more space between our rib cage and our pelvis. And then bring yourself to a held position. Let your arms go back behind you if you can. And then bring yourself forward, taking out some of that upper back and neck tension. So it's your choice. You could be up here, or you could flip the toes under and sit on your heels, or you could sit on top of folded feet. So whatever is appropriate for you, come to it. And let's do the upper back and neck area. This is a good thing to do during the day. If you sit a lot and you need a little stretch in your upper back and neck, if you've been looking down a lot. So let's take the hands. Let's open the hands, stretch, open, close. Take your hands, you're gonna clasp your hands behind your head. Clasp your hands behind your head. Push your elbows back, get nice and tall here. Lift your heart, lift your throat. Look across the room, maybe about 3/4 of the way up the wall or all the way where the wall and the ceiling meet. Really pull those lower ribs away from the top of the pelvis. Breathe down to your belly. Push your elbows back. Let your shoulder blades slide towards each other and down your back. So towards the spine. Take one more breath. And then exhale, chin goes towards the chest, elbows come towards each other. Inhale to open. Open your throat. Let your elbows go back a lot. Let your elbows do a lot of movement here. Exhale. Inhale. Stretch your tissue. 2 more. One more. And then bring yourself out of that. Ooh, lots of stretching. If you were up on your toes, that was pretty intense for toes. Okay, let's keep the blanket here in the middle of the mat. Knees are on the floor. We're gonna come forward, we're gonna do a dolphin plank. So if you'd like to get your block, you can get your block and put your hands like this so your elbows are block distance. Bring your block forward, let your elbows be underneath your shoulder. Remember that even if there's a lot of tension today during today's practice, we are warding off future pain and discomfort. We are being proactive to keep our body strong. Come forward into a modification of a plank, dolphin plank. Knees and shins are in the floor. And then let the low back lift up towards the sky, as if a puppeteer had a string in the very center of your low back. Let it lift up a lot so you come into flexion or a rounding in that lower back. Press your hands into the floor, your arms into the floor, and then your elbows. Dig your elbows into the floor and slide your elbows towards your knees. And then bring your awareness to your knees. Slide your knees towards your elbows. Let that low back lift up. Zipper up the midsection as if you're zippering on a super tight pair of jeans. Each exhale is more zippering. Inhale is in the chest. Exhale is in zipper. One more breath. Elbows wide. Take your hands and hold your face. Hold your face. Breathe down to belly. So you're holding your head here. Hold the weight of the head. Take your feet wide. This is to settle that lumbar spine. Do a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Breathe down to your belly. Help to release tension in the low back. And then come into that Sphinx posture. Elbows are underneath. And then look down towards your feet. Look over your shoulder toward your feet. Do this on both sides. And then go ahead with length. Pull length in your spine. You should bring yourself all the way down. Fold your hands. Place your forehead in the back of the hands. Keep your feet pretty wide. Bend your knees. Bring your legs up and let your legs go side to side.
And then bring your legs back to center. I want you to slide one of your legs out to the side, only one of them. So your hip joint makes the shape of the letter L, and your knee joint makes the letter L, and your ankle makes the letter L. So let your knee be coming straight off of your hip out to the side. So figure 4, they call this. Stretches the front of the hip. Push that front of the hip joint down towards the ground. Notice how far away from the floor the attachment, or that place where your leg attaches to your body, and keep pushing that towards the floor. Deep breaths down to that area. One more breath. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So bring that leg back. Slide the opposite leg out to the side. So there's an L shape at the hip joint, an L shape at the knee joint, and an L shape at the ankle joint. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, tension. Last 2 breaths, take them really big breaths down to your belly. And then bring your legs back. So bring the legs so they're straight off of your body. The toes are touching. You're going to bring your hands alongside your body. Palms are down on the ground. Fingers are pointing down towards your toes. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Let the forehead and the nose touch the floor. Let your toes touch. Let your hands press into the floor. And then you're going to push your hands into the floor. Inhale. Lift your upper body away from the ground. Exhale to lower. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. One more. Bring yourself forward. Let's take the hands out to the side. This is Cobra. You're going to take your hands wide. The thumbs are near the armpits. The fingers are pointing up towards the head part of the mat. And you're spreading your fingers as wide as you can. And then your elbows are not up in the sky and not out to the side. Bring your elbows, lower your elbows, and your elbows stay low and close to your body. Push your hands down into the floor. Slide your hands back towards your feet. You're going to feel your body rock. You can actually, if you push your hands down and you pull your hands back, you're going to feel a little bit of movement here in your body. Let's take an inhale. Push your hands down. Lift your upper body away from the floor with the muscles of the back. So don't let it be your head that's trying to lead the way. Toes touch. Fingernail or toenails press into the floor. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Stretching, strengthening your back, stretching your front. Inhale. Two more. Push your hands down, slide them back. Inhale to lift up with the muscles of the back. Let them contract to lift you up. One more. Stay here. Lift your hands off the floor. If your body lowered, stay where it lowered to. Put your hands back. Slide your hands back towards your feet. Lengthen your spine. Push your heart forward. Push your pubis bone into the floor. Point your tailbone down in between the 2 heels. Deep breaths to your belly. Let the back of the head be lifting up too, and the nape of the neck, but don't have extra tension in the head. One more. And then bring yourself down. Let your legs spread and relax. Turn your head to the right. So the left ear and the left cheek touch the floor. So keep turning your head until you get the left cheek and the left ear. And then bring the arms down alongside your body, palms are up. Now, if this is too much tension in your neck, take your right hand out to the side. Let the palm go down. And if it's still too much tension, bend the elbow. If you don't have tension or you're able to stay here, have your hands down alongside your body. Let your shoulders round forward, stretching that upper back and neck area. Try to let that left ear touch the floor, left cheek. Deep breaths down to your belly. So we are strengthening the back in this series that we're doing here. So you may feel that tension of the muscles working, and then we'll loosen them up in a second. We're loosening up top part of your body. So we're gonna go to the other side now. You're gonna lift your head, tuck your chin towards your chest, lift your head up. Turn your head so that your right ear and right cheek touch the floor. Notice what you notice here. Maybe tighter, maybe more loose. If you need to take your left hand out to the side, palm goes down. And if you need more, bend your elbow. Deep breaths to your belly. One more breath. Let's take your hands, fold your hands, let your back of your hands be where your head rests. Spread your legs wide, and then let your legs go side to side here. This can be a little relief for that low back. You can let both feet go at the same time, and then you could try to let one go and then the other. So your awareness is on one more than the other. There's a little bit of a difference here. And then roll on to a side. Take your hand on the floor, and then you're going to lead with your shoulder, push yourself up. Let's do a turtle posture to stretch out the back. You can either come into a puppy dog. This is a great back stretch. You could come into this to lengthen your spine, or come into a child's pose if you do not have osteoporosis. You could come into a child's pose, either regular child or with extension. So you could do that, that's an option. Or you can come up into turtle posture, taking your feet, soles together, or even your feet wide. Take your hands underneath your legs so that you lengthen your spine. So the turtle posture lengthens the spine. You let your forearms here lengthen. So you push your tailbone into the ground and you lengthen from tailbone up each vertebra, 26 of them, lengthening your head. And I'm sure for some of you, even finding this posture in your body may be stretching other joints and muscles as well. So depending on what your range of motion is in your body, what your tightness is, how many cobwebs you've acquired along the way, breathe down to your belly. So breath helps here to release that tension of stress on your body. Aging is a stressor on the body. Body position, sitting is a stressor on the body. Trying to take those stressors out of the body. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. We'll come down onto the ground for the rest of our practice.
So bring yourself either to the side or roll down through each vertebra with control, muscular control, coming down. Come all the way down onto the ground. Let's bring one leg into the body and take the other leg straight. And allow the relaxation to come in. So you brought the leg in. There was muscular action doing that. And then see if you could soften when you're here. Let your breath be relaxation. We don't always have to be doing. Let's see if we could practice human being right now. Each exhalation takes you to a place of human being instead of human doing. Let your foot come down onto the ground. Let your arms go out to the side. Let that leg move out to the side. So this is almost like that figure 4 we did on our tummy. Now you find it in this position. Gravity from a different direction. Take one more breath. And bring that knee back up to center. Let's take the other knee, bring the other knee in slowly and straighten that leg. Once it arrives, can you relax and release and let your body be in this position? Keep drawing that knee towards your head. Take an inhale and exhale. One more breath. Really soften. Notice if you're holding, if you're guarding. And then put your foot onto the floor. You're going to slowly let that leg open to the side. Letting go, an important skill and hard for a lot of us. Bring yourself back up to a neutral position, then take your legs really wide. Let's take the arms out to the side, the palms are up towards the sky, and let your feet be at either as wide as your mat or wider than your mat. As you start to inhale, letting your legs go towards one side. Exhale, zipper up your belly, push your belly button to your spine, come back up to center, and then inhale over to the other side. And then exhale back up to center. So helping to release some of that tension maybe from the low back area. Stretching another part of the leg, hip flexor muscles, going out a little lower down towards the knee. Next time you come over to the right, stay there, and then lengthen that left side, reach that left hand off the floor, flex the wrist, reach the left hand away, and then push that left knee away from you. Really stretch your body here. Inhale. Exhale, push your belly button to your spine so you're protecting that low back. Come back up to center. Slowly let your legs go towards the left. When they arrive, let them soften and then take the right hand off. Reach that right hand long away from you and that right knee away. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Clear the cobwebs in your body. Clear the deposits of arthritis in the joints, the adhesions in the tissues.
and allow the minerals to go back into the bones, because you just created more space in your joints. You aligned your joints. You stretched the muscles that hold them in place. You released stress from your joints so the minerals can go back to the bones. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Walk the feet back. Bring the knees into the chest, side to side, so you massage the low back. We're going to do a twist here, wringing out even more tension. Keep the knees pretty high up towards your heart as you allow the knees to go to the side. Doesn't matter which side you go to. I'd like your shoulder blades to stay on the floor or be as close to staying on the floor as they can. So for some of you, that may mean that you need to elevate your legs, or a block between your legs, or between the feet. So find what's appropriate for you. Trying to get that shoulder blade, the opposite shoulder blade on the floor. Take the hand on top of the knee. You can pull that knee down to deepen the stretch. Breathe down to your belly. Notice where you have tension. And send the inhale there. And on the exhale, release that tension. Three more breaths here. Finishing that last breath. We're going to come to the other side. Bring your knees one at a time up. So move thoughtfully here as you come back to center. And then push your body into the floor to lift it up, to reposition, to put yourself back to a neutral. Bring your knees back up so they're high up towards the heart. Don't move when they're down here. It's too much tension on the low back. Bring your knees up and then allow the knees to move over toward the side. Deciding whether you need a block underneath your feet, underneath your knees, and doing what's appropriate for you. Breathe down to your belly. Take 3 more breaths here. Finishing that last breath. Bringing yourself back to center. Let's let the legs and the arms go in the air. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Push your feet into the floor. Lift your pelvis up. And then you're going to come into your Shavasana. So find the Shavasana that you'd like. You could put blankets underneath your body if you'd like. Go back to the inhale, relaxation, exhale, tension breath. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Bring that movement into your ankles, your wrists. Notice how you're feeling. Bending your knees, draw the knees into the body. Notice what that feels like when you bring the knees in. And then roll onto your side, pushing yourself up to a seated position. We're going to close the practice. Try to keep your eyes closed, using vibrational sound to come up your spine, out, crown of the head. So allow that sound to come up and out of you. Take your hands at your chest area, thumbs touch the sternum bone. Take a deep breath down to the belly and humming sound.
bowing in gratitude for the practice, for the opportunity for us to learn what we're learning, to move our bodies, the fact that our bodies are moving, that we're able to do what we do. Namaste. Well, I feel fantastic. And I have a long drive ahead of me. I'm driving to Vegas soon. So that will be perfect. And so that was a really great way to take tension out of your body from sitting, for those of you that sit a lot. Lot of body weight to stretch the pelvic area. That's really good and important. So I hope you feel good. Let me see who else arrived. Martha, oh, okay. I did see at one point I was frozen. You'll be doing yoga with me, Martha, no matter what. It's either, I'm always going to be virtual. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for telling me that, Joanne, because that's my thing, is that I am so cognizant of making this practice for every person. And when my body was damaged, there's a lot I couldn't do. And so it's very important for me to always give modifications. Today's practice had an intensity physically, and it probably also could have had an emotional intensity, because our emotions sit in our tissues. And if you've had stress in your life, extra stress in your life, or stress in your life, we're releasing that, right? When we have thoughts, when we have worry, when we have fear, when we have grief, when we have whatever we have happening in here, there's a biochemical, physiological response down below, and it sits in our tissues. And today was a lot of deep releasing. We used gravity a lot today and body weight to release. So even if it may not seem like we're up and we're doing all this crazy stuff, we really did a lot of deep release today, whether that was stored stress in joints, in muscles, and like I said, all that unseen stored stress tension that's in our body. So I would recommend that you drink a lot of water, because there was really some stuff that was released. So from a biochemical, physiological perspective, but then from an emotional perspective, go outside, smell some flowers, be in nature, feel your feet on the floor, let yourself ground in this present moment. Okay. And we were just released a lot. All right. Thank you so much. For those of you that practice with me Tuesday and or Wednesday, I plan to still teach from, I'll be in Colorado, in Boulder. I still plan to teach. If for any reason something happens, I'll make it up. Okay, so I'm just giving a warning, but show up because I'll be there. All right. Great, Lynn. And I hope Dave is too. I think about Dave a lot during this, because I know where he has his tension and his tightness and what may be hard or easy. So at certain times I think about, when I give you guys something to do, I'm like, I wonder if Dave can do this. I wish I could see him moving and doing it. Yeah, it could be, Joanne, right? So then it's gone. So then you released it, and that was sitting in your body. And so that could be good. Yeah, good for Dave. Glad Dave loved that. Hi, Reed. I don't think I've ever met you. Oh, Claudia. Claudia. Okay. So you're on a different thing. Wow. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I don't know if I'm ever going to have grandkids. My kids are nowhere near it. And the one that could potentially, I don't want her to do it. Not yet anyway. Yeah, Nancy, big win in Las Vegas. You know what my big win is? I don't think I told you guys this. My 91, almost 92-year-old dad is going with me. So my dad will be 92 June 22nd. So we're doing a road trip. Me and my father, we're going to be driving right now on a road trip. I mean, how lucky am I that I get to do this? My mom is going to stay here with my sister, because it just wouldn't be good for my mom. Too long in the car for her. She's got some physical issues and some cognitive issues. It just wouldn't be good for her. But my dad, we're taking my 21-year-old daughter. And so he really wanted to take his granddaughter to Vegas for her 21st birthday. And my husband will be there as well. So anyway, really exciting. And then we're going to drive 10.5 hours on Monday to Boulder. I'm doing a road trip with my dad. So Claudia, oh no, it wasn't you, it was telling me, it was Lauren. So Martha, will you mention that to Lauren? I hope she's doing okay. she took a road trip with her girlfriend to Zion. And so I'm doing a road trip with my dad and my daughter, my 21-year-old and 91-year-old. And I guess I'm in the middle. Grand pups, Martha. Oh, well, there you go. That's great. Yes. All right. Perfect. All right, let me see. You're welcome. Great, Carolyn. Thank you. Lauren, I saw that you were here. Kittens. Okay, and I also have a friend that has 5 kittens. So Lauren fosters kittens. If anybody wants a kitten, Lauren, I don't know if you saw my advertisement today for the kittens. Ooh, Lauren, why don't I do a kitten yoga class where I have the kittens running around me? The problem is we might take one. We already have 4. Ugh, I really want a gray cat. All right. Anybody wants a kitten? Pet Protectors League. I wonder if that's how I got Hamilton. My daughter is in touch with all of the rescue people. Anyway, all right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you. Let me see. There's another thing here. Thank you. Yeah. All right. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Hope you feel de-stressed. That's the goal. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. All right. Bye, everyone.